the man behind the hustle and grind. This is pride, courage, determination, and perseverance. Welcome to No Luck's Given. All right, and just like that, we are back live at the No Luck's Given podcast. I'm Dana Keith. I got my co-host,
Brother Luck. What's
Brother
up?
Luck in the building. Brother Luck, which I appreciate you being here. Look, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to the No Luck's Given podcast. This has grown. We're on like episode 19. So if you guys rock with us, if you listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure you tune in there. Otherwise, if you like the video version, check out YouTube. That's where we're going to play those. And then we have a Patreon, Chef Brother Luck Patreon, which we'll get into a little bit here in the back end of this episode. But welcome to the No Luck's Given podcast. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Man, you know what? I'm glad to just take a few minutes out of a crazy week.
Yep.
And just chop it up with you, man. I think we have great conversations and we always get deep.
Yeah.
And I like to make sure we make time for this. It's so important.
No, this is good, especially like just natural, organic conversations. And, between me and you, like just kind of catching up where we're at right now might be a great conversation. Speaking
Absolutely.
about, where you're at in business, where you're at in mindset, where you're at, just in life. So let me just do my personal check-in, because I used to do this in the early episodes. How you doing, brother? How's your week been, man?
Man, I'm good. I think it's important to have those check-ins because so much stuff happens on just an everyday basis, and you've got to just kind of slow down and process, and then decide this is how I'm going to move forward. And it takes having a good circle and people around you to ask that question. I put a post out earlier that literally talked about this. Who's your 12?
Yeah. Who's in your circle feeding you right now?
Who's in your circle feeding you? And,
yeah, that's beautiful. I love that conversation. Keep going. I get chills.
It's real though, because we chase these relationships in the workplace. We chase them in our personal lives. Yep. We chase these relationships and we're looking for acceptance. We're looking for validation. Yep. And sometimes those relationships aren't they're not what you need, right? They're not going to feed your soul. These people don't believe in what you believe in. They don't follow the same lifestyle that you follow. Right. They're not adding anything to your lifestyle, and you're not adding anything to their lifestyle.
Right.
So,
100%.
Why are we wasting time? So I love that you do that check-in, man, because, you in a circle. You're in a circle.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. That's love, 100%. And real quick, we have to address the elephant in the room real quick. You have a brace. What's going on with this brace? And why we do that, I got to go check one thing on my other camera.
You know what? Of course, I'm all braced up today. I'm getting old. That's the reality. my birthday is coming up and I'm getting old. I had some tendons in my arm that just started to swell real bad. So the doctor was like 2 weeks, no golf, no physical activity on that arm. And we're going to put you some antibiotics to kind of take down the swelling. So, it was enough pain to where I went to the doctor, which, most people don't, right? You just kind of like, I can hold on. I can go take some ibuprofen. I can wait. But I finally went to the doctor and she was like, you should have came like a while ago. Because it's been like 2 months that I've been dealing with this pain. So,
and that's so funny because I think that literally is an analogy to like how we treat like mental health. Like, we can feel the pain and we don't address it for ourselves, but let somebody that we care about feel that pain. We would strongly encourage them to get help.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
that's a crazy thing that, it took, just a little bit of personal self-care to go make that trip.
Yeah. And think about it like this, like you're big on your physical fitness as well. You work out your physical. Why don't you work out your mental?
Right. And I think that like how we work out that mental, let's have that conversation. Like how do we work out our mental? Like break that down to us. 'Cause I think I have some good examples in my mind, but go ahead.
Well, the first part is, when we talk about strengthening your mental health, I think you have to be open and willing. That's the first piece, right? Which requires trust. So you got to kind of look at like, who do you trust well enough to actually have that kind of conversation with? Like, here's what I'm dealing with. Here's what I'm frustrated about. Right. Here's what I'm going through.
Right.
I don't need you to solve. I just need you to hear me.
That's important. It's somebody just to hear, right?
Yeah, you need those venting sessions, and sometimes it's a professional, right? And there's nothing wrong. I've gone through therapy. My therapist was amazing. He helped me work through a lot of things that I didn't realize were affecting me today from my past.
Right.
and how I was approaching every day and every situation.
Yo, that's interesting because, just yesterday I had an incident with a family member, and I just thought to myself the whole time, and this is good for me to have these conversations, because I thought to myself the whole time, let's problem solve. And listening to you right there, I took a second. I literally brought myself back to that moment yesterday, and I thought to myself, maybe I needed to hear them first before we problem solve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because a lot of us are the heroes in the story, right? We want to be the hero in the story. You're a father, right? You're the protector, right? You're the provider, right? You have to embrace that role every day of your life. So when it comes to other people, you naturally fall into that role.
100%.
Right? But some people don't need that, right?
Yeah.
Tina and I talk about this all the time. We're both leaders within our industry. We're both leaders within our positions at work. And we're so quick to want to solve for each other because we care about each other. We love each other.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I just need to be heard.
I just need to be heard for a moment. That's powerful. And then another thing that I thought about when we first initiated this conversation was, how do we work on our mental health, right? Or our mind, I think was the right question. How do we work on our mind? And I think it's like in real time, like every day you work on it, because like I brought myself to that incident yesterday where it was like, going through those situations is how you learn. Whether if you fail initially, you just have a negative mindset initially, but then you push through and find the positive instead of staying in the negative.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like just like going through life in that way of working on your mind through like whatever you go through. It could be something so simple as, like, for example, somebody cut me off in traffic. I am trying I'm trying not to curse when people cut me off now. So I'm just trying to be like, yo, I'm not going, you know what I'm saying? It's not that terrible.
Yeah.
But just something like that, just that little mindset. Oh, I'll give you another one. You ready? Here you go. I ran a stop sign in my residential.
Such a rule breaker.
Yeah, such a rule breaker, right? So I ran a stop sign in my apartment complex. I mean, if you live there, nobody stops there. But you only stop there if you don't live there.
Yeah.
So somebody who stopped at their stop sign saw me just run right by through mine, and he like flipped out of his car. Like that would normally make me flip out, like, boy, get out, try to, you know what I'm saying, just talking junk to that person in the car. And it's so funny that this is my example, but it's so real that something so simple as that, like something like that, because bro, like for the first few minutes, I'm just thinking, bro, pull over, like get out your damn car. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the funniest part about that. We carry this edge, especially in this country. We carry this edge of you're worried about somebody taking advantage of you, so you have to have defensive mindset at all times, right? We call it being hard,
right?
But like you have to maintain this edge when you're out and about in the world,
right.
And it wasn't until I went to Japan where like they bow at you when they honk.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're still serving. The hospitality is still such a big piece of their culture and respect.
Right.
It made me like, oh wow, I gotta calm this down, because like.
But isn't that such an advantage in the mental game to just have that as a prerequisite? You know what I'm saying? Like they're just polite on the road, so that's that everyday life that I was trying to explain to y'all.
Well, it's awareness, and I think that's where you kind of have to start.
That's a great word.
Mental health awareness is so key, is so important, because if you don't know where your body's at, where your mindset's at, and how you actually respond, and where you're heading, you can't handle it. Like I have to know. Like I've come to these recent experiences where I have started to get into that deep depressive, dark, shut down mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm actually aware of it now. I'm like, man, I can see the responses from people around me. I can see how Tina's, wearing her body language of concern.
Yeah.
Like I see myself shutting down.
Right.
So I have to be aware of that so I can start to do the things that I need to do to get out of that. And I can get out of it faster if I'm aware of it.
Once you're aware. And then like once you're aware, because when I was a kid, and I still have this problem now, I'm a damn adult, but like when I get into that negative, kind of like yesterday example, to push through the positive, you have to be aware of that. But what helps you when you're in that? Like when T is like, yo, you in a funk, what helps you get over that funk, to get, once you're aware, what is that next step? Well,
you have to choose. And I think the choice, that decision that you're faced with every moment of your life, you have to make a choice to either fall victim to it, or to persevere beyond it.
Yeah.
And I think the awareness for me has been one of the greatest pieces, is like when I know I'm getting into those funks and I know how dark those can get and how long they can be.
Right.
That's not something that's like an hour, right? This is going to be a couple weeks.
Right.
This is a couple days of being shut down and depressed and just isolating myself from the world.
Right.
I don't want to live like that. So I have to make that choice to say, you know what, I got to get out of this.
Yeah.
I got to change my mindset. I have to take ownership of my actions, of my demeanor, of how I'm coming across. And I also got to find the source of why.
Yeah.
Why am I here?
Yeah. What feeling are you going through? Because that's one thing that I will tell you is just something that I'm just trying to practice in like real time in my real life, is just that acknowledgement. Like, hey, I feel this way. Just acknowledge that shit.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like I work around that acknowledgement and then I can't move past it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just that acknowledgement. So that awareness is so key to me. But I find, and this is just me reflecting, guys, I find that I'm easily aware of other people. I'm very observant. But when I'm in that damn moment that's got me heated, whatever it is that's got my feelings boiling, like it's tougher for me to grab my own versus I can easily pinpoint, like watch somebody boil. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to figure out what it is to bring me back to that zen. I mean, I know what I do, but you know what I'm saying? But I'm just trying to say like how can I like actively work on it? You know what I'm saying? But it's just an awareness thing, and I'm trying to be a better fucking person. Oh, sorry. T, I'm sorry. If T is on the live, I can't curse on the live.
No, I you know, we all have mental health issues, and as we go through our day to day, it doesn't matter what your career is, right? I'm a chef, you're a filmmaker.
Yeah.
No matter what we're going through, life still works its way into the workplace. And when you throw the pressures of life and you throw the pressures of work on top of each other, and you're not aware of where your head's at, and you don't know how to get yourself out of these mindsets, that leads you down some really dark places. You know, and for me, as I'm working through my book right now, my memoir,
let's talk.
It's crazy how like honest and real and uncomfortable it's getting, because I'm writing some stuff down that I don't think I haven't talked about, or I've kind of shut away. I put in a closet, and I have to deal with them because I'm trying to communicate them so I can put it out there.
Right.
Because my goal with this is to hopefully help other people realize like you're not alone, you're not by yourself, you're not crazy.
I got chills again.
Right, that's what it is though. You're not alone, right? The way you feel, I feel. The way you think you're going through it and you're by yourself and you're crazy and like all this stuff's going on, but in reality, man, everybody's feeling this, right? A lot of people just hide it better.
100%. A lot of people hide it better. That's crazy, you know, and I get chills, you know, on my arm because I feel that in my soul. You know what I mean? Mental health and just like that mental awareness to me, and this is like the simplest breakdown, but you know, don't torch me, you guys. Don't torch me. But it's about, you know, trying to find that light. So what I'm doing, like when I'm in that hot moment, is find something light. When I mean light, I just mean positive, grateful, something in the light direction. Versus because I get in this dark place, and you described it earlier. You said that it happens and it goes for like weeks. But it is that spiral effect. Yeah. And once you start getting into it, you keep going to it. You know what I mean? So acknowledging it is really helping me. So just even shit like this, like talking it out, you know what I mean? It helps me get to some type of clarity.
Well, and the good thing too is, like, you know, as you talk it out, it's because we have trust, right? We built trust, and we confide in each other, and we actually share it to the world. But it's because we're comfortable enough to do that, right? We've lost the shame. And our insecurities. We've lost the shame in being able to talk about mental health, or being able to talk about therapy, or being able to talk about, you know, feeling weak without losing masculinity. Right.
Or having emotions, because I'm be real, y'all. I'm emotional as hell, and that like for real, like I'm emotional as hell, and I always blame it on. Ever since I had my son, look, I cry during Disney movies now, like it's bad. But just having emotions and not being afraid of having emotions. And you know what? You said this earlier about like getting in your memoir, and I thought about this. I want to share this with everybody. Wifey is calling you. But I want to share this with everybody listening. and my question to you, and I think that this will translate very easily, is that as you're helping and writing those things out that are, emotional and very sentimental, they're sensitive subjects. Do you find that although the aim is to help someone else, do you find that it's helping you to go back to these things?
Absolutely. I mean, self-reflection is such a big piece, and a lot of self-reflection comes when you're trying to help somebody else, because you're sharing a piece of your story to hopefully make them feel a little bit more comfortable or less alone. I was expressing condolences to somebody earlier, and I'm like, man, I know what it feels like to lose somebody that close. So you share some of those stories, but it forces you to kind of deal with what you had in the past.
Right.
You're talking about today. So reflection is extremely important, but when you're talking about moving forward, that's where you have to start setting yourself up with small goals and small wins, right?
I love that.
Because when you think about most of why we get into these funks, it's because somebody hurt us, somebody broke our trust, somebody did something to us,
right?
Something happened to put you here.
Yep.
So you have to find joy somehow. And it's through small wins, right? Because small wins add up, and they add up, and they add up. So I think that's another key piece of what you can be doing to help get you out of those funks and focus on your mental health and your awareness is, start setting yourself up with small goals.
Yeah, small goals, knock them out, and then count those wins. I had this speech with Leah, and my speech it kind of started out with, how did we get here? Mm-hmm. And I want to take a moment and this was my speech, but I want to take a moment and think about how we got here. Let's think about not only like what you did to get you here, but think about all the things you accomplished along that way. Mm-hmm. Because if we first, and was it you or I think it was my father? I had a talk with him. It was you like my father figure.
Hey, brother, father.
But I had a talk with my real father last night, and he said that there's so many things that he did in our lives that he just completely forgets about. Like I'll give you the example. He was talking about like coaching our baseball teams. Like he totally just forgot he did those things. And like those are like, I'm saying, I'm 5, 6, 7, 8. Like he's my assistant coach. Like, I was always fucking scared because my dad, if I fuck up, my dad's here. You know what I'm saying? At any rate, it's so easy to forget about all the things that you've done, all the things that matter, whether they're accomplishments to your family, to your business, to your personal life. Like we have to stack those wins and just acknowledging what you've accomplished to even get here before you set sight. Like, there's always a say like the most important day is tomorrow, right? Or like today, whatever. But you have to appreciate yesterday to even like have the right mindset. So that's one of my things in the speech was about, congratulating yourself on where you've been and what you've accomplished thus far. Well, and you're already great.
I love that you just hit this. You have to compliment yourself, right? And that always comes back down to the basics. You have to love yourself. A lot of us look in the mirror and we don't like the person we see.
Self-love.
Right? We don't like the person we see. We don't like how we feel. We feel like we can be doing better with our physical health. We should be looking a certain way. We measure ourselves against what we see on social media. You're like, oh, this person's doing this and I'm not doing that.
Right.
Like, my life is screwed up. You have to start to love yourself. That is so key. In the self-discovery process is realizing that a lot of us don't like ourselves. So how do you expect other people to like you?
Yeah. It's really tough. It's such a deep like subject because a lot of things come back to self. You know what I mean? But then this is where it also translates into your circle. You know what I mean? Because I always think like, who's going to be picking you up?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And if your circle is, by nature, people that you've been with forever, doing the same things forever and nothing progressing in your path or your passion, then, that really isn't nothing to bring you up.
Yeah.
You know
and
what I'm saying?
if you're around people who aren't celebrating your wins, then those people need to be removed out of your life.
Yeah.
Like,
celebrate the wins. Damn.
And from like I celebrate a lot of people's wins, and it's because
that's deep. If you ain't celebrating my wins, you gotta go. You gotta go.
My mother-in-law said it the best. She said, when people are removed out of your life, that's just God God weeding your garden.
Weeding your garden, yeah.
You know, because you need the flowers to bloom. And,
have
you know,
to.
I want to have good people in my life that actually know me, but also are there for me and don't want nothing.
Right.
And that's so important for me is those relationships, because I want to put effort into those. And I realized how backwards I had it for so long.
Yeah.
You know, I was chasing
It's so
the
easy to
relationships
do
of
so.
people that didn't really know me.
Right.
And I didn't really know them. You know,
Right.
we're acquainted, we're colleagues, but, you know, we don't really know each other.
Yeah. So and this is good. We might have this discussion because, you know, a lot of people, and this is my thesis, but a lot of people are friends with who they work with because they're around them. So what is your idea of colleagues and friends? You know, let's just have that conversation.
You know, a colleague is somebody you work with, or they're in your same industry.
Yeah.
And the challenge with that is, and we make a lot of friends through work. Like that's just some blossom, some do really well, some don't. But most of the time, a lot of those don't last because you're chasing the same things. You're trying to accomplish the same goals. So at some point, the competition becomes real.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to battle for recognition. We're going to battle for supremacy. Like it's going to break down at some point because we're trying to get ahead of each other.
It's competition.
So I hope you celebrate my wins, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to win too. That competition is always going to be the challenge when it comes to your colleagues. So you just have to be aware of it. I've had a lot of friends in this industry, and I've lost a lot of friends in this industry, and it's such a blow every time it happens because I really thought this person was my friend. I really thought this was somebody I was gonna rock with for a long time.
Right.
And you know, the decisions that they made or the decisions that I made were selfish on both of our parts.
Yeah, this at some point.
Because it was about us. It was about our careers.
Yeah.
And that was something that was so hard to go through, and it breaks you.
Yeah.
Right?
How do you manage that dynamic? You know what I mean? Whether it's your personal relationship with your wife or even like friends, because I think that, you know, that dynamic is very interesting in regards to like you know, competitive, personal, and then the business, you know what I mean? So how do you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is you got to look at who's calling you to just check on you.
Yeah.
Right? They don't want nothing.
Yo,
they don't need nothing.
Yo, I don't say this enough, but thank you for checking on me, bro. You always do that for me. But yo,
you have to though. And I think you have to really look at those relationships in your life and say, you know, this is the person that calls me and checks on me all the time. Yeah. They don't ever want nothing. They don't need nothing.
Yeah.
They're just interested in me as a person. And that's something that's so different than somebody you work with, because, you know, there's usually a need there.
Yeah. Like, I need you to help in this position. You know what I mean?
Or hey, you know, we're trying to get this project done, or hey, do you want to come do this? So, you know, you have to look at that first part of what are you investing your time, and then analyze how much time you're giving to those relationships and who are you sacrificing for. Like, we all got 24 hours. So out of that 24 hours, who are you making that time for?
Damn, that's crazy, because that is the balance. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you can invest into your career or these relationships and spend time over here, or you can invest over there. And there's no right answer. There is no right answer, because, you know, in my mind, I just, you know, thought about an interview I watched. He's a dope entrepreneur, huge like YouTube following base, but it's Valuetainment. And this entrepreneur, his name is like Patrick Bet David. So I wanted to make sure I get it right. But he was talking about that when he went to find his wife, he wrote down exactly what he wanted. You know what I mean? He was so specific, and it was strictly because there was no way that he would be the man that comes home at 6 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's willing to invest into those business relationships to help his family down the long run. So there's like always this balancing teeter-totter that this is the reason why I say there's no right answer, because, you know, you could be investing in your family or your business, and like, as long as like I don't know the right answer, but as long as I believe, you know, it's productive in one way or the other, you know what I mean? I think that you have some opportunity there. I don't think that I got the answer, y'all. I'm not Sway. Hey, speaking of Sway, you ain't got the answer, Sway. Brother Luck was on Sway's radio.
Yeah, that was
Sway's
cool.
radio. I
that
just
really
caught
cool.
wind of that. Talk about like how you like just go do these things? Because you went from help me out with the name, Shade
45.
We were driving in Denver, and you just said, I'm gonna get on that show.
Yeah, the All Out show.
You went and got on that show.
I did.
Tell me about how you get to Sway in the morning on the radio, Brother Luck.
I
and Heather B. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
A lot of us are, and I had a lot of people actually catch that, which was crazy because it was like a 3-minute piece. But at the end of the day, we talk about small wins, right? And for me, setting short-term goals are so important. One of my goals was to have a quick conversation with Sway. And I was driving to work. It was like 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the show, and there was an opportunity to call in, tell us what you're winning. It's Winning Wednesdays.
Okay.
And you know what? I was just feeling I was feeling good. And then when I called, it got through, which never happens.
Yeah.
And, I got the opportunity, and you have to seize moments like that. So, it's cool, but it's just the beginning. We just scratching the surface of some of these goals. Like they're all coming together. And I think that's so important for your small wins is set these short-term goals to accomplish the larger one. What is the larger goal there?
And I think what I want to take away from that is that even a small win is a relationship. You know what I mean? It might be that business relationship to lead you to the next thing, because I have Sway on my wall. Yeah. Like I started this whole thing with a rapper. He's my best friend. He raps. And like, we always wanted to get to Sway. That was our dream, was to get to Sway. Somehow, some way, get to Sway. Yeah. And for you to be on the radio with Sway, and it was just like 1 degree away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. Those are those relationships. You know what I'm saying?
But the beauty is as we keep moving forward and we continue to do these amazing things, it's going to open up more conversations. I'm a firm believer in, if we meet, and regardless if you're a celebrity or you're a normal person, I'm either going to vibe with you or not. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter your status. You're still a regular person.
Right.
So I'm either going to vibe with you or not. But either way, I'm hoping to make at least some type of introduction, some type of front porch that I'm establishing. Yeah. So we can start a conversation. So when we do run into each other the next time it's something I can build on.
Something to build on.
I always take Kat Suji for example. So Kat Suji from Top Chef is an amazing person, and like I'd be ready to fight over Kat Suji. Like say something. Yeah. But
he's ridiculous, but he has a great heart.
He really does. And Kat Suji and I met through social media. We have never filmed together. Yeah. But we met on social media, and he was just trolling, messing with us because we were the new cast members for Top Chef. And, I kind of did, some checking on him. I was like, who is this cat? Like, what's going on? And they were like, have some fun with him. So we just started this back and forth. And the thing that was really unique was we actually, hold on.
All right, we got. This is the first time this is the first time this has happened. Live, we have Wifey Luck calling in, and brother had to make sure he answered.
Well, I want to make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
So
somebody showed love. Hey, by the way, real quick, I want to tap in with IG. What question do you have for them? Because I want to know, how are y'all relationships going? What is working for y'all? Can I get some feedback in the comments, like even on the Facebook, IGs, all of those things? I want to know what is working for y'all. Like, what kind of issues or what kind of things are y'all dealing with in terms of relationships, and how are y'all pushing through? Because obviously it doesn't have to be business or personal, but I'm just curious, you know what I'm saying? Because right now this is an interesting time period. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're getting back to, I don't know if we should say this because then we go jinx it. We getting back to a little bit of normality in life, to where we getting back to socializing and things like that. How are y'all doing mentally, even mental health? How are y'all doing with you first? I want to hear some feedback from the IG and the Facebook. Can y'all give me some love?
Yeah, the COVID depression's a real thing.
Yeah, it's super
is a real thing. Like,
and then what it also is the COVID confusion. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want to get deep into this because I go ham, and I don't want to be that person on the platform, but I do want to represent. Anyways, the confusion. It's the confusion that, and then it's opposition. Mm-hmm. It's like, we're against each other now. You know what I'm saying? That's the part that I'm not with.
Yeah, no, it's been a tough 18 months, you know, and I think everybody's kind of going through it, but like we all are going through it. So which is one of the reasons we like to express, you know, we need to be talking about this. We need to voice what's going on. I mean, you know, I was kind of bringing up Katsuji as far as like relationships, but like this is somebody that I've become friends with through multiple experiences, through multiple conversations. But he's one of those people I call just to check on. Right? I don't care about your personality on social media or television. I've gotten to know you, who you are. I'm just going to call you to check on you.
Right.
Like that's a real friendship that's developing.
Yo, shout out the people who call your friends just to check up on them. If you're not doing that, that's my call to action today. After this podcast, because you can't hang up now. After this podcast, I need y'all to call somebody just to check up on someone you love or someone you want to show love to, and just check up on them. Don't ask for nothing. I always think about this when you say this. Like, bro always says like he wants people around that want nothing from him. And I always think like, you know, if somebody can add value, then they're a part of like your life. And value is debatable. What is value? Like if you just like provide me emotional value, that's value, y'all. That's a friendship. That's somebody to just listen to. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's like a business value, like just a business conversation. Like I get that from you all the time. Like that's value.
Yeah.
So like you could give something of value without wanting anything back is what I'm trying to say.
Well, and here's the reality of the situation. The phone works two ways. So, you know, we all have people in our lives that we need to call and check on, but we waiting for them to call and check on us.
Ooh,
right?
You just hit somebody listening knows exactly who they supposed to call now.
I've got a few of those, and I have to make the effort to call and knock down that wall, right? Because it's a choice, right? Tomorrow's not promised, and you don't want things left unsaid. So make that effort, put whatever you need to put underneath the rug and move on.
That's deep.
And not live in that place. You know, it's so hard to live in this mindset of like, I don't trust you, so I'm not going to talk to you. That's exhausting, man.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching this interview with DMX, and he said, you know, I trust people to be who they are. A snake's a snake, a liar's a liar, a thief's a thief. And I don't put no effort into not trusting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna try to work through like who you are. I just
won't trust the snake. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Like,
but you know, I love the fact that like you have to force yourself to be uncomfortable and deal with things, because that's honestly one of the parts that's affecting your mental health.
That's wild. I trust them to be who they are.
Absolutely.
That's deep. That's deep as hell.
And think about this. We all have our own reflection. We have our own perspective, our perception that they think who we are. So you just got to embrace that and talk through that and work through that. But it's exhausting trying not to talk to people and you know, put these guards up around like the world. You know.
So how do you balance that? Because there's such a balance in that. Because for me, like I do go into this like mode of where I really don't talk to nobody, don't call nobody, don't text nobody. I'm only on social to promote certain things, and to be honest, like that's when I get the most done.
Yeah.
So how do you balance, like, you know, feeding other souls, and then how do you balance watering yourself? Yeah. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? What do you know what I'm trying to say?
So a good friend of mine, and I talked about this earlier, a good friend of mine said, he asked me, he said, if Jesus had 12 disciples, who's your 12? Right?
Who's your 12?
Who's your 12?
That's the question. Who's your 12?
Who's your 12?
Damn.
Who are you putting time into? Who's around you? Who's feeding your soul? Because those are the relationships you should be putting the most in. Now, within that 12, there's 2 or 3 that are extremely close to you, right? My wife is one of them.
Right.
So you have to kind of realize, like, who is those 12 people that are going to keep you real, that are going to keep you honest, that you can have straight up conversations with, and that you can get the reality of, because social media is not real.
That's right.
Right. This is such a glimpse of everybody's best hits.
Yeah.
That we cannot measure ourselves against.
The connections you can make are real. The connections
Absolutely.
you make,
There's
the
great.
moves you make, there is some sense, but
there takes effort.
I feel what you say though.
There takes so much effort to build relationships, right? And then you got to follow up on them.
Right.
When Tina told me, when she said, you don't have any friends because you choose not to.
T, why you going for the soul like that?
You know, well, I asked for it. I asked for it, right? I asked one of my 12.
Yeah.
Why don't I have friends?
I love that I said that so you could say that.
Yeah.
I love the point that just made.
I asked, why don't I have friends?
You need those people.
And she's the one who said it's because you put up walls that say you're too busy, that you're traveling the world, that you're running restaurants, that you're on television, that you're doing podcasts, you're doing all this stuff, and you're too busy to go to a barbecue.
Right.
You're too busy to hang out. You're too busy to go have a drink with. You aren't letting down those walls.
Damn.
You've got everybody right here.
Yep.
At a distance because that's where you want them. You have to change that choice.
That's deep. That one hit me. That one hit me hard. I was like, oh man, I got to digest that real quick. Cause how do you help with that wall? You know what I mean? Cause, obviously like the 12 people you trust. And when I thought about it, like Jesus was helping them more than they were helping him. Mm-hmm. So who are the 12 people you're helping? It's kind of like what comes to my mind, but those have to be your inner circle.
Well, also question like what's behind that wall, right? What's the point of a wall? A wall is defense. Right? Yeah, you're protecting yourself.
I feel like the wall in my world is like to, and this is interesting to have this conversation because I do have like a public persona, but then I have a very private life. Like I have a very private life. So my wall is that private life. You know what I'm saying? Like I allow you to look through that window. But there's a wall there. It's just a window you can look through.
It's more of a peephole than a window.
Maybe I probably needed to hear that, like for real.
But it's so real because for one, it's exhausting to be a personality and be a person. Yeah, that's exhausting, right? Yeah. And I think we create personas through work, through careers, through social media, through whatever you're doing, right? That are the exact opposite of who you are. So, or
just a figment, like just a piece of it. You know what I mean?
You're acting. You get to be that person for a little bit. So, when you try to live both lives, man, that becomes exhausting. And I hated the fact that it was like, am I talking to Chef or am I talking to brother?
I know. I went back to that in my mind. Oh,
I hated that.
God, we've had this talk.
I want to be the same person. But you have to question what's on the other side of your wall. If you're putting up walls in your life, what's on the other side of that wall? For me, I'm protecting myself with that wall from pain. From people who broke my trust.
Oh my God! Right? It's an armor. It's an armor.
It's an armor.
Yeah, and they got holes all in it.
It's got tons of.
I pulled that from my other podcast.
So you gotta let if you let that wall down to tap into whatever you're gonna tap in over there.
This is somebody needs to hear this because I need to hear it.
If you're gonna drop that wall and tap into whatever's on the other side of that, like we talk about a lot about like tapping into pain, because pain's a great motivator, right? But once you drop that wall, you better be prepared to deal with everything that came through with the pain, right? Because you have no more defense.
Dang,
you let it in,
right.
So that's why we break so hard when we tap into the things on the other side of the wall, or we go into the other side of the wall. You've got to deal with those things on the other side of the wall. I read this phenomenal book by Carlos Whitaker.
Yo, I got chills. You got to deal with those things on the other side of the wall. Sorry, you read that thing. Go ahead, finish.
So I read one of my favorite books that I've recently read in the last couple of years was To Kill a Spider. And it's by Carlos Whitaker. If you don't follow Carlos Whitaker, you should. This is an amazing human. He's a phenomenal writer, but he essentially talks about the spider. And when you walk into a spider web, your first reaction is to get it off. Right. And you swing and they clear and you shut the door or you run out the room or wherever. But when you come back, all those webs are there. They've all reappeared. Yeah. Because you never dealt with the spiders.
Oh, you dealing with the webs. You never.
Phenomenal book, Carlos. Phenomenal book.
You didn't get to the root source. You
got to deal with your spiders. For me, I like to write a lot of my spiders. Yeah.
Writing is helping me too. Yes. How has that been for you? Like the writing process. Speak about that, because just for people who don't know, this is called the No Looks Given podcast, and Brother Luck has a book coming out, No Looks Given. Yes. And this is about his life. This is to inspire somebody. This whole podcast is predicated on the principles of pride, courage, determination, and dedication. Yeah. So like we want to motivate and inspire somebody. So going back to my question, how is the writing process helping you, have awareness and kind of go through these mental hurdles? Yeah. Even friendships and those walls. Like how is it helping you identify those?
One of the exercises we've been doing with this book as we've been writing has been timeline. Writing out your timeline to understand what you were going through at certain ages, the good and the bad. And I found it so amazing looking at this from such a high level perspective of like, oh, here's the last 40 years, that I noticed, my worst times were usually followed by my best times and vice versa. Or sometimes it was at the same time.
Yeah.
And as I've been going through this writing process, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff. It's starting conversations that I wasn't ready to have.
Yeah.
I'm having talks with people I didn't think I would be having talks with.
Right.
And, it's changing my mentality. But at the same time, I'm trying to articulate, what do I want to say? Yeah. And to who am I trying to say it to? So, as we kind of get into this memoir, I think it's memoir, it's mentorship, and it's motivational. Yeah. Like for me, it's all three of these things. So I've got to tell this story, and I'm in the middle of another book I'm reading right now, and it's about how to write a story. And a story is a character who experiences conflict and overcomes, right? And that's why you fall in love with that character. So, how do you look at your own life and say, here's the conflicts that I've gone through, here's how I'm overcoming them, and how do you express that to the world, so they can cheer for you, right? Because everybody needs the cheering section.
Yeah, you do.
You want somebody to clap for you. You want somebody to be behind you. So you got to find those 12 people who are going to be your biggest cheerleaders.
I'm interested to ask this question because you said that you're having the conversation with people that you didn't expect to have it with. Is that the people who are helping you write, like you're talking to them through it, or are you then, after discussing these topics, going back to the source? Like, are you reaching out? Is that,
it's a little
am
bit
I breaking
both.
It down a little bit too much?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, I'm talking with certain family members that I didn't think I'd actually be having conversations with. Yeah. And it gets real quick. Yes. Real quick, quick, because your family's all always going to call you out. Right. Right. There's no fear. They don't look at you like, oh, you're so-and-so. They look at you as family. Yeah. So, it's been some really good conversations there. But at the same time, like sitting there and talking with my co-author, and as we're going through this conversation every day of like, hey, here's the assignment, here's what we're working on. It's crazy how real things get really quick. Like one of the exercises we just did was write a 26-word poem, and each letter has to start sequential ABCs. So A, B, C, D, E, F. Yeah. And you had to write a whole 26-word poem. Yeah. Showcase that. And when I wrote my poem, man, it was hard. It was deep. Yeah. And
what was the subject of the poem?
It was my relationship with my mother.
And A, B, C, and D had to go off of that.
Yeah. So I think I started it with like a boy cries dad.
Ooh.
Yeah. Sheesh. These are good pieces, and this is the importance of talking, right? Whether you're talking through paper, you're talking one-on-one, you're talking to social media. Right. You need to get it out there. Don't be ashamed to talk about what you're dealing with and what you're feeling, because you can't deal with it if you don't start talking about it. Professional help is a good thing. Don't be afraid to have a conversation with a therapist, because they're going to give you good guidance. And honestly, most of the therapists that I've had the opportunity to actually experience, they just listen. Right? Yeah. You're so ready to word vomit all over them. Mm-hmm. They just kind of listen, and then they ask you really good questions that make you ponder and respond.
Yeah, so that you solve the problem. All right, I want to go back to this because I'm gonna put a plug in. You know what I'm saying? I'm writing a book as well. You know what I'm saying? And this book, I was going through my first chapter, rewriting it, and one of the pieces was talking about, and this I got this from a Joe Rogan motivational speech, but it talks about like the best movies are the people who just have been through the shit. Mm-hmm. And then they come back and win.
The conflict.
Yeah, so you have a problem, the conflict, and then you persevere through.
I'm gonna give you this book when I'm done with it.
All right, so the reason why I bring that up is because in my book, I'm trying to explain to the reader that you are that superhero. Like, you are your own superhero. And even though it sounds like childish and little kitty, like, but when we were kids, we had that type of imagination that we could be the superhero. Like, we still have the ability to have that imagination and then go conquer. But at some point, and this is what I talk about in the book, like our child within, it starts to get killed, like slowly and surely. And then only until you have the imagination, the courage to have imagination that you can win and be your own superhero, do you really realize that all the power is within.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my moment, is just having that discussion, saying that like, yo, bro is a superhero. You know what I'm saying? But you are too. You know what I'm saying? That we are the same. So like, that's just my thought, because a lot of people look at them, and even myself, I'm gonna take it back, because brother always corrects me. If I'm in a room and I'm like, yo, all these, it's like, I'm not gonna say that, but like, if I feel like I don't belong there, brother always says like, yo, you belong here. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Change that mindset.
Yeah.
So the reason why I say that was the boat. Like, I've never thought about even owning a boat. I never thought I could own a boat, or that I deserved a boat, or that you know what I'm saying, I could own a boat.
Dream big.
So then like having that acknowledgement, hey, that I deserve that, is my own superhero moment to come to, you know, bring those things to fruition. So when y'all see me on the boat shoes, #boat shoes, just know that it's a dream come true. So
no, absolutely. You know, character transformation, and I love that word. Transformation is what it's all about, because we're constantly growing, we're constantly evolving, we're reflecting, and we're persevering. So, you know, I wrote this down as I was reading this Donald Miller book. He said, in the book, he said, if the point of life is the same as the point of a story, the point of life is character transformation.
Hit him back. Hit him one more time with it.
So if the point of life is the same as the point of the story, the point of life is the character transformation.
The
right?
character
it's
transformation.
Us growing. It's us evolving.
Yes.
Sharing that evolution, sharing that transformation is so important, because people relate to that. You know, I'm at this stage and you're on this level.
Right.
I want to get to that level. So, you know, we have to.
We always look up to those people.
We do, because they've transformed into those people. So we're all going through this transformation, but you have to give yourself credit and write and dream big. You can accomplish anything you want to accomplish if you can dream it. Don't let nobody tell you can't. Right. Don't let the environment that you're in be the reason why you find excuses to not do something.
Because somebody came from that same environment and did it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
You've got to embrace that. Go play golf. Go buy a boat. Get multi-million-dollar contracts. Get the big house. Do whatever is going to fill your bucket. You need to do that.
I'm saving this clip.
And don't let anyone tell you that you can't, because you know what? They're not walking in your shoes. They don't know how sore your feet are. They don't know how tired you are. They don't know how bad you want it.
They don't know what's transforming.
They don't know about your transformation. They know about their transformation. And I think
appreciate
that's
the feedback.
So
character
important.
Transformation is key. You know what I thought about, you know, and I'm just going to bring the spiritual, you know, God is what people believe is like the perfect ideal. And then the ideal is, you know, the better person. You know what I'm saying? So like when you told me that the sentence, I'm going to try to quote it. You said, if the point of life is, then and you could bring up the quote because I forgot it, but character transformation, then that's the same as a story. Like the character transformation is you, and that the person that you are aiming is the potential you, like who you could be. And that's the transformation. So I just brought you on.
I want to hit this real quick. So there's a comment in the stream on Instagram right now by Full Belly Blogger, and he says, "I wish a motherfucker would tell me I couldn't do something."
Yo, that's the first time brother cursed on a podcast.
I said, motherfucker.
I'm clipping this.
That's 2 G's.
I'm telling. It's like I ain't doing that, but I am clipping it.
What I want to get into though is I wish somebody would tell me I can't do something. That's not the problem. See, that's not the problem. The problem is we tell ourselves, you can't do this. You don't believe in yourself to say, I can do this. Right? We doubt ourselves. We don't love ourselves. We give self-doubt to ourselves. And we knock ourselves out of the game before you even had a chance to swing.
Before we get in the batter box, bro.
You know, that's the biggest enemy. You can't listen to that.
I love that attitude, though. Like, I wish a motherfucker would tell me I can't do something. Like, I'm going to do it. But then you look in the mirror and that motherfucker's you. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you know, and here, you know, you have to realize that we measure ourselves so much against each other. Yeah. But you are you. There's only one you. So why are you measuring yourself against anyone? Yeah. You know, my mindset, and this has been a lot of growth and transformation on my part, has been to understand that I'm not really concerned about your opinion when it comes to my transformation, because this is my transformation. I'm concerned about the opinion of the 12 in my circle, because those are the people
keep it real.
They're always going to keep it real. They're always going to tell me when I'm doing wrong, when I'm doing right, and when I need to pull it back. Or like what was it? I think Steve said on the last podcast, he's like, Tina's your governor. She's always going to slow you down when you need to slow down. If y'all ain't check
out the last podcast, go check it out. Steve Sauce. We had a special guest. Episode 18 is live on YouTube. Chef Brother Luck on
Our
YouTube.
favorite sommelier.
Hey, he's so dope. And he's a great golfer too. And I'm not going to talk about that, but I love you, Sauce.
But you got to get past that. You got to get past the part of measuring yourself against other people, thinking that you can't do something because, these people are amazing at what they do. Well, that's their transformation. They're putting in the work. Right?
That's their transformation.
That's their transformation.
I love this. Yes.
So this is why I celebrate so many people's wins. I have no ill will when it comes to your success, man. I want to clap for you all day long.
No, that's true.
Because I'm trying to celebrate me, and I'm trying to embrace me, and I'm trying to support my 12. But at the same time, I don't have the energy to put into knocking you off of whatever you trying to do.
Right.
It's not worth it, man. I want to see you do good. I want to, man, much blessings, much success.
Right.
I
love that because there's room for everybody.
There's so much room.
I think that's the thing that people forget. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. When I go to like Walmart and I see all these different brands of stupid stuff like toilet paper and like how all these brands exist, you know what I'm saying? But the method or the reason why I say that is because there's room for everybody. Your brand can belong on the shelf too.
No, check this quote out. So this is a good one. Somebody just threw this in there. More for someone else doesn't mean less for me.
Ooh. Hold on, hit him with the first line though.
Life isn't pie.
Life isn't pie. Life isn't pie.
That
means more for someone else doesn't mean less for me.
And here's the thing. This is why there's this is why there's so much room, and this is the reality that a lot of us don't face, but it is a reality. Is that time waits for nobody, right? And it ends for everybody.
Ooh, so who is brother today? Y'all need to drop the mic, cut the podcast off. He's killing the game.
But that's the one part y'all got to realize is that there's room for everybody because some people clocking out.
Right.
They're not waking up today.
Right.
They ran out of time.
I know that's
right.
True.
And that's not promised. So when you face that reality, you realize how much you need to get to work. Ooh. It's time to put in work. It's time to start celebrating people.
Oh, so then I'm gonna hit you. So then how you balance that work with personal life?
because work and personal is the same thing.
Yes.
You got to put it into both. You can't not work at home. Right.
I love that you said that. You know what I'm saying? That it like you are the same. You could still be working on personal and business. You know what I'm saying? And I love the quote here. It said that life isn't pie. Like, you know what I'm saying? By me eating more doesn't mean that you can't eat more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm gonna eat the whole pie. Like I want both.
And the worst part is a lot of us write the end of the story, right? We write the end of these stories because we think we know what's going on and what's going to happen, when in reality somebody else might have had something going on in their life that you had no idea. So when we just cut people out or we just ignore the problems and we put them to the side, you're not dealing with the actual issue, and that's why you fall into these mindsets of depression and shutdown and isolation and really disconnect from the people who love you the most. Right. You always go hardest on the people that love you the most because you think they're not going to go nowhere. And that's one of the worst things that we can do.
Damn.
And like I said, this podcast for those just tuning in, this podcast that we are recording, right? We're giving y'all the live stream right now, but this podcast that we do every week, No Luck's Given, is not about just cooking. Cooking is such a small piece of it. Filmmaking is such a small piece of it. This is about life. This is about realness.
Entrepreneurs going through life, and we talking this shit out together. And that's
insecurity, depression, anxiety, the fears, the frustrations.
We're gonna celebrate our wins too. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna talk through our losses and our downside, because that's the point of a podcast in the first place. And these people tuning in, bro, they want to hear this stuff. Like they want to hear you keep it real. You know what I'm saying?
And it's funny. I just changed that on my Instagram page. Like I wrote, I keep it 100. I keep it real because I don't have time to give you fake. That takes too much energy.
Right.
And honestly, I don't care what you think of it
And
or
I
not.
can't-
Because are you in the 12? Then I do care.
I'm just joking, but like, and if this is a cooking podcast, like I don't belong on this show. Like, come on, y'all know how I get down.
Well, you know, the best part is like we've developed this friendship over the years, and this is such a cool way to express the friendship, but also the real conversations, because that's how this all started.
This is how this started, because I always have conversations with brother, and I'm the student. I'm the student. Keep it real with you. I can teach brother some things, but like I'm really the student, and I wanted to share the conversations that we have. Is how this started, because I kept saying to him, bro, I wish I had this on film. I wish I had this on film. I needed this, and I needed to hear it again, and more people needed to hear this too than just me. But that's why we have this podcast.
And think, then you fast forward, we literally are having a conversation with Rod Thomas, and he's like, every conversation y'all should record.
No, Ross Smith. Yeah,
I was reading something else. But Ross Smith said, you know, you guys need to record every conversation
they have with anybody. He records all his conversations with everybody, so he can go back and take notes.
Yeah, and
that blew my mind.
That was a good conversation. That was a really good conversation. But you know, keep good people in your life. Have good people in your life. Surround yourself with good people, because life is too short not to live good.
And even better, like be that good person. Like be that good person for someone else, or for your circle, for your 12. Be that good person. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm trying my best. Like, I'm going to do better, y'all. I'm going to do better. And I'm definitely going to make that phone call. So just, if y'all just tuning in, Brother Luck talked about it. Like, make that phone call to check up on somebody. Like, do it. Like, don't think you should do it. Don't say I could do it. Just do it. And like, you know what I'm saying? Just check up on them. There ain't nothing more than just checking up on somebody you love. So look, man, I always try to add some value to our listeners every single episode that we've done. And last episode, you gave me the value. So I appreciate you plugging me and helping me out with that one that time. But I try to ask you, you know, for somebody who is, you know, even like the entrepreneur, and maybe it's not the entrepreneur, but their circle ain't strong. Like, they looking around, you know what I'm saying? And they thinking to themselves like, dud. Like, they just got duds around them. But it's people they love, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how can we work on ourselves and our relationships, you know, this week? Like, I want to hear like a tip or advice. What do you have to give the people who's listening and interested? Like what do you have for them this week from Brother Luck?
Yeah. You know, I think one of the most important things that always stand out in my world is, you know, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, am I scared of love? Real talk. Like, am I scared to show love? Am I scared to receive love? Yeah. Am I scared to actually embrace real love?
Yo, this brings me back. What did you say when you were a kid? You didn't know how to accept love and be loved.
Absolutely not. You know,
that
I had walls up.
Me deep in my soul. I had so many walls that you felt like that.
You know, but as I've dropped walls and I've become more comfortable with those, and I've started to deal with, you know, with the spiders and the ingredients in my closet, you know, that's one of those things that you have to ask yourself, you know, are you scared of love? And not ever view yourself as weak for expressing emotion or talking about your mental health, or because at the end of the day, I'm no less tougher than I was when I walked in this door. Right. But we sit here talking about some real stuff. Right. And I've learned that communication and honesty does not mean weakness. It don't. You know, and we have to change that mindset. So ask yourself that question, you know, am I scared of love? And do you like the person that you see in the mirror? And if you don't, you know, it's time to really start facing some of the past.
That question hits me hard. Like, are you afraid of love? And you know, when I hear that, like, I think about, you know, are you afraid of like your own love, like from yourself? Like, self-love is what I thought about.
Absolutely.
Man, that's deep. That's deep, y'all. I hope y'all caught that one. All right, so my tip is actually going back to what brother said earlier, and it is the message of my speech, but it was talking about stacking your wins. Like, for me, like it could be something so simple as like cleaning my room, doing dishes, doing laundry. It don't have to be business. But then when I stack my wins in business, then I'm feeling real good. But that's just who I am. You know what I'm saying? So stack your wins at whatever like thing that you're going through. That's my tip and advice for this week is stack those wins. It could be, you know what I always tell people is make a list. Like really make a list of what you want to do for the rest of the day. Make a list for the week, something like that. but put one thing on the list that you already did. And just cross that bad boy out. And then keep going. You know what I'm saying? That's my tip. That's my advice. Look, y'all, this is No Luck's Giving Podcast. I appreciate y'all for being here. We have patreon.com. If y'all really love and support what we're doing, if you want to help us make a bigger impact, my ask today is go to patreon.com/Chef Brother Luck and donate and support us on a monthly basis to help us achieve our goals and dreams, which is bringing that positivity and making a bigger impact, not only in the podcast, in the studio, in our families, in our lives, but it's also going to directly affect the community and much broader. So that's my ask.
It's really cool too, because behind the scenes we're building this really cool community of people who truly rock with us, people who really want to support us, people who want to see us get to that next level. And for us, like long term, larger goal wise, our goal is to essentially create our own digital company, right? We are trying to build our own production team, our own digital team, so we don't have to give away exclusivity deals and contracts to other brands and other people, and we're not stuck without the creativity process and the control. So, you know, that's where a lot of that's going into, is the editing, the time that it takes, the equipment that, you know, we've obviously purchased and started to build up. Like, those are big investments.
And then take us to the next level. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we want to take this on the road.
Yeah, my goal is Netflix and Amazon, you know what I mean? Or I want to be on those type of digital streaming platforms, and to be able to make that content, like, it is a bigger investment. But it's not even just that. Look, I want to thank you guys. Like, even the support by watching, listening, interacting, sharing it, liking, comment, all of those things, like, we love that too. And if that's all that you can do, look, rock with us next week. Check us out on the streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes. If y'all listening, give us 5-star ratings. We love y'all. We thank y'all so much. Brother, what you got for the people who are just hopping in right now? Because there's some people hopping in just right now. Give them a recap of what the hell we just did on No Luck's Giving Podcast.
Y'all missed some gems. And I encourage you to go to Spotify, Apple, or Chef Brother Luck YouTube and watch some of these episodes, because we're talking about real stuff. We're talking about things that need to be talked about, like mental health, like depression, like anxiety, fears, you know, but also the wins, right? The motivation,
entrepreneurship, business mindset. There's
so much good stuff. So I encourage you to subscribe. We always go live here on our Instagram as well. So appreciate everybody here. But man, I'm blessed. I'm so thankful. You know what? And stay humble, man. Stay humble.
Where can they follow you at, brother, if they're not already?
Yeah, you can check me out at Chef Brother Luck across the board: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, all that good stuff. You can follow even on TikTok now. I'm getting my TikTok game back up.
I see you TikToking it up. You know what I'm saying?
But I want to do it so much more than just, you know, just these little clips of cooking.
Appreciate you, Amy, too. I see you on there on Facebook.
We do so much more than that.
Yeah,
this is what it's about.
We do much more, man. No Luck's Giving is pride, courage, determination, and what is it? I messed that up. Pride, courage, perseverance. And determination.
It's okay. It's okay. We at the end of the hour.
Hey, I can't even edit that. That's just gonna stay. I love y'all. But look, thank you so much. Tune in next week, and until next time, peace.
Peace, y'all.
The man behind the hustle and grind. This is pride, courage, determination, and perseverance. Welcome to No Luck's Giving.